Hi, I'm Kaye Doran, Inner Expressions, Women's Leadership and Life Coach. And we're going to talk right now about how to stay connected to your knowing. We all have that innate voice within. Do you hear it calling? It is the voice of knowing. We have the feeling and it resonates in the heart. We have that desire to dream. Something comes out of us that if we weren't afraid, if I wasn't afraid, I would do. If this was different, I would do. You feel inspired. You feel energized by the concept of it, the hope, the dream, the desire. I want to start a business. Whatever it might be, there is something sitting, resonating within you. It's a whole-bodied experience when you hear the voice of your knowing, when you feel that calling, because you do feel energized by it. You feel inspired by it. You feel the desire to want to make a change in your life. And that change can be many things. It could be that you want to change the way you eat. You could feel inspired and feel that calling to want to start your own business. The desire to, shed the kilos. And you feel full of hope when that comes. You feel like you could conquer the world when that comes. You feel like, yes, I can do this. I am going to do this. I am doing it. And you start to take some steps. Now, those steps can be different things. That might be, for many people, I'll write down the goal. This is what I'll do. Or, maybe momentarily I will change the way I'm eating. I will start to research the business that I want to run. I've got clients doing that. I will think differently. I will apply for the job that I really want. I will work towards making happen the relationship that I so desire. You feel the energy and momentum coming from deep within you. The inspiration, that moment where you dare to dream, that feeling inspired, the belief in yourself. Yes, 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 I can make that change. Energized, full of hope. Join the gym, put your money down. Starting to take those steps towards that desired outcome. We've all felt it. I have. I know you have. I know you have. And in those moments, and that voice of that calling comes in that moment, whether you're someone who meditates and bang, there it is. I tell you when the voice of knowing also comes, on the toilet, vacuuming the floor, when you least expect it. Just hits you from the side and you feel it move through you. Or sometimes it can also be that whisper. I want it to be different. I need it to be different. Can it be different? Yes, it can be. Yes, it can be. Then guess what? We all know this one. Those other voices start to creep in, start to call out. Because the thing is, as you move, as you start to take those actions, fueled by that inspiration, that potential, that possibility, that I can attitude, you've got a conditioning in there coming from way back when. Now, don't get caught in the trap of when and who am I to blame? It's mum, it's dad, it's this, it's that. It doesn't matter. It's there, and it's the conditioning. And, you know, as we were growing up, we had perceptions that we took on. We had experiences that we built stories around. And we sort of took a part of ourselves and those stories, perceptions, beliefs, whatever you'd like to call it. And we took that conditioning and we buried it deep. And it became like an anchor. And it was designed ultimately to protect you, keep you safe, create a bit of a mask. Ultimately designed to sort of somehow help you and serve you. And it probably did for a while, but it also became hidden. And you created a personality around that. And what we do is, when that is created and then buried a little bit deeper to anchor us down, keep me safe, hold me here, don't let me go too far. We sort of say to it, you know what, when I come digging and when I want to move beyond a certain point, just throw out tidbits, just little bits and pieces that will make me feel like I'm doing the inner work. I'm understanding where it comes from. Protect me. Protect me from taking risk. Protect me from breaking free. Protect me from feeling vulnerable. So what are some of the ways that protection will play out? We get defensive. So the voice has spoken to us. The inspiration has been there. We feel inspired. We go to make progress. We start to set things in place. We take some action. We take steps to move forwards. And then that conditioning starts to play out. The defenses start to play out. Opinions of others start to matter. Those thoughts and feelings of, who the hell do you think you are? You can't do this. You haven't got what it takes. What do you think you're doing? Imagine what other people will think of you. What happens if I fail? Maybe I'm a fraud. So you start to sabotage the steps that you're taking. You come up with excuses as to why you can't do this. And it can be anything from, again, money, opinions of others, how you start thinking and feeling about yourself. Don't want to expose that maybe I'm really a fraud. Do you know what I'm saying? Have you been there? Have you started that way with that knowing, just moving through you, that exhilaration, that momentum, the steps that you take? And then slowly those other voices start calling out, That avoidance tactic, those excuses. Excuse me. So what's really happening? What's really happening is that anchor that was initially designed to keep you safe gave you so much room to move. Excuse me. And no more than that. My apologies. Gave you so much room to move. You can go this far, and then you've given me the directive to keep you safe. So I'm going to make things feel really tight. Then you've got another elastic band, the calling, the knowing, the dream, the desire, the goal, pulling you forwards. Doesn't have any tightness to it. It's just there. So as you keep moving forwards, as you take that action, as you feel that inspiration, as you feel that drive, as you feel that motivation, that elastic band to that anchor that initially you said, this is where I am, I'm only going so far, a little bit like, the boat puts down the anchor. It's got so much room to move, but you can't go any further. Don't want to float off. That elastic band gets really tight because you set up a safety zone, a space where you can live. Part of it sort of feels illusionary. This is as good as you are. This is as good as it gets. This is as far as you can go. You have capped your potential. Not necessarily the truth, because the voice of knowing was calling. If the voice of knowing was calling for a reason. The voice of knowing within, that thing that drives you, that dares to whisper to you, there's more, there's more, there's more. I want that relationship. I want to run that business. I want that freedom. I want to know what it feels like to be fit and healthy, whatever it might be. I want a job that actually fulfills me, that makes me wake up in the day going, yes, this is what I'm here for. This is what I love. It's there for a reason. Because in some respects, at that point in time, it knows you better than you know yourself. That elastic band, as you've moved, gets so tight. Because you're starting to reach the top of your safety zone. Now, what happens there? You want to go into control. It's called avoidance. So some of the avoidance is starting to get irritable with other people and blame other people. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of finances. We get irritable or angry, fearful, that doubt. We try to control and bring ourselves back where we feel the relief or the release, living back in that safety zone. Is it really safe though? And then what happens is we've also got the excuses of, well, there's too much happening in my life right now. I'm too busy. When the timing is right, don't have the money. I know you've heard it before because I hear it too at times. And this is part of the thing. The understanding becomes the power. Here are some avoidance tactics. I deal with this all the time, not only with myself, dealt with it with my clients that I coach. The understanding is the power. Here are some of the avoidance tactics. Oh, it's because of mum, or it's because of dad, or it's because when I was 7, it was because of when I was this. There is a moment and a process to look at that. But that can then also become an avoidance tactic. I'll keep looking back there. So when I sort that back there, then I can move forwards to that. But guess what? Doesn't bloody happen, does it? Oh, you'll take another step and you'll get back to that, the tightness, that top point where you need to move beyond the barrier of where you've set that safety zone, and the control will need to come back in to pull you back. So what do? Well, understanding is power. Fear has to become our friend. Understanding the process of where you're at, getting comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable, knowing, okay, I have this saying, fear is the signpost, you're heading in the right direction. So when you get to this point, instead of being the passenger and those voices being the driver, or instead of being pirated, you need to take command of your own vessel again and go, wow, okay, I'm here. I'm here because I'm stretched to the outer reaches of where I've set the boundaries and barriers of my comfort zone that core part of me is holding me to. That means I'm progressing. That means I'm breaking through, or getting ready to break through. Your knowing doesn't lie. Your knowing has called you for a reason. What does it say on the screen? Trust yourself, you know more than you think you do. So the thing is, the knowing has been calling you. The desire has been calling you. The anchor has been designed to pull you back, to keep you in give you a certain movement and then pull you back into safety. Understanding sets you free. So it's a signpost. Okay, I had the voice of knowing. I had the desire. I had the elation, the energy, the drive. I started taking action, and then the recoil. The understanding comes in and you go, you know what? Fear is my friend. I know what's happening here. I have clients that ring me up going, Kaye, I'm in the elastic band. Trepidation and excitement. Now it takes the courage. The courage comes from the understanding. This is exactly how it needs to be right now. Don't judge it as a negative. Stop trying to control the process to get rid of anything. Everyone wants to be heard. Now, the problem that I see is that too many people are labeling it, that's a negative energy. Oh, stay away from the negative energy. That lowers you. No, it doesn't. It's just an aspect that needs to be heard and understood. Because you know what? If we don't listen, so I've raised 3 children, met my stepson when he was a teenager. So, 3.5 children. And for a long time on my own as a single parent with my 3. And the one thing that I've learned is, you know what? They'll come to you going, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that. I used to throw them right off centre because I'd go, thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for sharing with me. And they'd look at me. They'd look at each other. They'd been validated. There was that moment of confusion. What just happened? Wasn't mum supposed to tell me I'm wrong and you're right, or vice versa? And then they would laugh and run off and play. If we're trying to get rid of something, we've got a judgment on it. While we've got a judgment on it, we've put a wall up. We're holding it at bay. We're not receiving the message. The message is, in this circumstance, hold on, you set a boundary. You told me to pull you back and keep you safe. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And all you need to do is go, you know what? I've heard you. Thank you. I've heard you. But I am taking control now. I understand what you're trying to tell me, what you're trying to do, but it no longer serves me. I'm going to break free and create a new safety zone. I'm going to stretch those boundaries. But thank you so much for doing exactly what you've told me to do. And then you just come back and take a step and take a step in the discomfort. Get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Know that fear is your friend and your signpost telling you you're heading in the right direction. And I'll tell you something else. You have been here before. This is the moment to sit and reflect. To sit and reflect and go, when have I felt this discomfort before? When have I set myself? When have I heard that voice of knowing? When have I had that desire, that goal, that ambition to create a change of some sort? I've got a client going through it at the moment. And we discussed it today. She's going through and she's expanding into that next level of herself. And I said, wow, remember a couple of years ago, you were ringing up in an absolute panic because you were venturing into something else. It was a training and teaching position within her business. Terrified. All those voices, don't know how to do it, not good enough, I'm not ready for it yet, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? She's one of the top trainers. So go back and look at the pattern and the time where you've been here before. And guess what? You broke through and you survived. And then guess what else? You became comfortable in it. I remember when my eldest daughter was learning to drive. God, in the end, I had to get her an instructor because I just couldn't cope with it, sitting in the car. She was so terrified. I can't. Jerk, jerk, jerk. She had so bought it. Didn't matter how much I said, you can, you've got this, you can. Fear. Lack of belief in herself. Well, she's 30 now and been driving for years, experienced driver. Moral of the story is she learnt. She continued to take action, as we all do. And what seemed unfamiliar, frightening, the impossible became the possible, became the norm, became the familiar. So review where you've been in this position before. So shit scared. Or coming up with excuses. Can't afford to do that. Can't afford to invest in that in myself. Don't know enough yet. Need to keep learning. Who do I think I am? Start projecting blame onto other people and irritation onto other people. Review where you've been here before, because history will tell you your story. You just got to start looking for it. Ask the question. Ask yourself the question. Start looking for the pattern. It gives you the reassurance. Will it stop you from feeling fear, the doubt, those other voices? No. No. But it gives you the courage and the resilience to take one step, to action one small thing, to action another, to action another. And guess what? Just like driving that car, before you know it, you would have actually broken the old elastic band. You'll be into a new paradigm. Your knowing spoke to you for a reason. Understanding the process will help you keep moving forwards. Review the times you've been there before. Telling you a story, it's got a history. And align yourself to this powerful, powerful truth. Your word is your bond. I remember growing up with my father, and, you know, back in the day, business was gentleman's handshake. That was it. As good as signing a contract. Well, what about your word is your bond? Your knowing spoke to you from deep within you. The dream, the potential, the desire. Spoke to you for a reason. Spoke to you for a reason because somewhere in your future now moment, it's already existing. You've already achieved it. You've already moved into it, expanded into it. You're already living it. You know that you're at the edge of what you believed your capacity to be, to keep you safe. All those other voices come in, all the excuses, all the irritation, all the avoidance tactics. And you just keep taking a step because you understand where you're at. You review your life. You know you've been here before. Your knowing spoke to you for a reason. And if you've said that you are going to do something, then your word must become your bond. Do it. The investment into doing it is more worthwhile, and the payoff is more worthwhile than if you don't and you break your word. Remembering at this point of feeling stretched to your capacity, of feeling on the edge, it's small steps. How do you eat an elephant? One small bite at a time, and after many, many bites, you've eaten the whole thing. Be playful and creative. Life in these moments can start to feel a little bit challenging. Don't get bogged down in it. Get out of your own way. Do something creative. Because creativity is intelligence having fun. It shakes it all up, loosens it all up. Do a silly dance. Sing. Paint. Throw some paint at paper. Write, journal, whatever it might be. Watch a funny movie. Shake up. Shake up the shit. Don't let it be so serious. Push, dance, sing, paint, create. Let it be fun. Sneak out of that restriction of the old and sort of wobble your way into the new. Shift the paradigm. Because if you can't be playful and creative along the way, you're just going to feel like you're pulling along the old and you're trying to grab the rope towards the new. And you know what, at the end of the day, then it just starts to feel like that tug of war. In that moment, have a laugh, write in your journal, throw some paint around, sing, dance, do a silly dance, shake it up. Shift it up. Because at the end of the day, if you're not being playful, if you're not having fun at times, how can you let the inspiration and creativity come back in? Remember, your energy goes to where your focus is. So if you're focused purely on the challenge and the resistance or the goal, in that moment, it all feels tight. It can all feel heavy. Sometimes you just got to throw your hands up in the air and go, stuff it. Make it light. Bring in some colour. Step away from it. Just have a moment between those two worlds where you're not ricocheting back and you're not propelling yourself forward. You can just allow it to be light. Fuel the battery. So let's do a recap. You hear the voice of knowing, you feel it, you feel inspired, there's something in your life you want to change. It energizes you momentarily. It inspires you momentarily. It drives you momentarily. You've got the anchor to the old that said, I will give you this much space, this much room to move to keep you safe. Got an elastic band around you to the old and to the new. You get to that boundary and all the avoidance comes in. Gets too tight, restrictive. That's when the games come in, the avoidance. You start to get irritated with others. You start to come up with reasons why you can't. You start to diminish yourself. All the things designed to pull you back so you can just live in that comfort zone where, you know, life is okay. But you don't want to live with regrets. Because remember, your voice of knowing has called you for a reason. It's called you because it already knows what you're capable of, bigger and better than what you know. You just have to pick up anchor, ride some waves. Guess what? You'll create another new safety zone. You have to trust the process. You have to understand the process. Do not try to get rid of the process. That in itself is another avoidance. It's not what's happening to you in life. It's how you are responding to what is happening to you in life. Are you being proactive or reactive? You don't want to get rid of anything. Everything needs to be heard, acknowledged, and have its place. Passenger seat. Keep driving. I hear you, but you're not in control. I understand that you're trying to protect me, which means I'm heading in the right direction because I'm about to break free. Trust yourself, trust the process, trust the understanding. Stop fighting it. Stop trying to get rid of it. Remember where you've been in this moment before, that you came through, you not only survived, you thrived, and then it became familiar. Then get out of your own way and do something to be playful and creative. Remember, creativity is in your intelligence. It's your intelligence having fun. Albert Einstein said it. Must be true. Now, my gift to you is a free 30-minute power call to help you further align and action your knowing. If you want me to hold that space for you, if you're feeling at that edge, as some of my clients ring me up and go, Kaye, I'm the elastic band. If you want that level of support, then I'm here to give you that level of support. Email me. We can Zoom. Doesn't matter where you live in the world, we can Zoom. I want to gift that to you, to hold that space and understanding for you. Because I'll tell you now, I actually did that for a client today. Having that other person validate you, tell you it's okay, is amazing. And I have been challenging myself and growing for over 30 years. I'm now 54. And I too have a coach, have a mentor that I will message. And I understand the process. But you know what? It calms when you have that external voice, that external source going, it's okay, I know exactly where you are. Woo, this is exciting. So if you'd like my support, I would love nothing more than to give that to you. There's my email. Email me. Let me know that you've seen this webinar, how to stay connected to your inner knowing, and we'll arrange it. Why? Because you are important. This is important. And at that point in time, when that anchor is trying to pull you back and all those avoidance tactics are coming in, unless you're really, really experienced, you'll give up. It takes courage. And the courage comes from the understanding, and sometimes just from another person also holding that space for you, giving you that reassurance so that you can break free into that next level, that next expression, that next level of leadership for you within your life. I'd love to do that for you. Thanks for listening.